Okay, ready?
It's right there, you see?
Okay, so do we clap?
Yeah, let's do 3, 2, 1.
We did it good.
That was really good.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to our podcast, No More Secrets. As always, I'm your Aunt, Mary Albrecht.
And I'm your niece, Katie Albrecht. And we figured that we are not alone, and some days are just not good ones. Correct?
Some days it's like everything is, I call them red light days, where you hit all the red lights coming to work and then the rest of the day goes that way.
Yeah,
versus
absolutely.
green light days, you know?
Or like you've probably heard the familiar saying of you waking up on the wrong side of the bed and then everything else goes wrong from there and everything. Yep. And we thought we would talk about this. Mary also found a kid's book, and we like to kind of go over books to match our topics and everything. But we thought we'd read some of this book to kind of just for humor, because some of it's really funny, actually.
And it's so basic.
Yeah, so it's called Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day. It reminds me of Holes. Have you ever read that book, Holes?
No.
It's it was one we read in like school, in like middle school or something like that. So,
well, we got going on the mouse and the cookie thing last week. Give them out. What is it?
If you give a mouse a cookie, so listeners, watchers are probably familiar.
Bernie's not going to be on the show.
If you
too.
give the cat attention, he'll want more and more and more.
I'm going to open the door here.
Nice. Bye-bye.
Anyway, Dunkel's back on the show, and so is Bernie. But
Yay.
yeah, we were just talking because
all the critters.
We were getting into the kids' book thing. We were trying to get the meaning of the give the mouse a cookie or whatever.
If you give a mouse a cookie,
I can't remember.
He'll probably want a glass of milk, and then so on and so forth, and it turns into a whole thing.
Yes, and so we thought, well, kids' books are really brilliant, a lot of them. So
sometimes
I mentioned in my class that we were thinking of some of the really good, meaningful kids' books, and Phyllis, my very good friend and client, mentioned this book. She loves all of the. What's the name of the author?
Judith Viorst.
Okay, she loves all of them, but she especially loves that one. So I ordered it from Amazon. It's very, very basic, but he really did have a sucky day, Alexander.
He did.
Maybe talk about the first day, how his day started out.
The first part of the day.
First
okay.
part of the day. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if I'll read all of it, but some of the highlights I think would be good.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to sleep with gum in my mouth, and now there's gum in my hair. When I got out of bed this morning, I tripped on the skateboard, and by mistake, I dropped my sweater in the sink while the water was running, and I could tell it was going to be a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day.
And this kid, maybe show the picture. He's about 10, maybe?
Yes. And you can just tell he is a grumpy kins, folks. Look at that frown. Okay. What were some other good sections of this?
I think the part about him wanting to move to Australia.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I'll read the next 2 pages.
Yes.
And then escalates quickly. I'll tell you what.
It does. It's hard to keep up.
Okay, so at breakfast, Anthony found a Corvette Stingray car kit in his breakfast cereal box. Nick found a junior undercover agent code ring in his breakfast cereal box. But in my breakfast cereal box, all I found was breakfast cereal.
Wah, wah, wah.
It reminds me of that skit Debbie Downer on SNL. It's an older one.
Oh, okay.
I'll have to play it for you.
Yeah, you don't know it.
Okay. Maybe that'll be a little behind the scenes action after the episode. The next page is, I think I'll move to Australia.
Which I think is hilarious because he picks like the furthest away place.
Well, I think it's hilarious because he found breakfast cereal in his breakfast cereal box. And that's why he wants to move to Australia. Which I think is kind of hilarious. You know, that's
like you should get a toy in your breakfast cereal box.
Yeah, that was pretty extreme, you know.
And then the other good one is when he goes to pick up his dad and he accidentally calls Australia.
Yeah, right. I was going to read this one first.
Okay.
Or these 2 pages because this is good. At school, Mrs. Dickens liked Paul's picture of the sailboat better than my picture of the invisible castle.
So he didn't draw a picture.
It's my imaginative castle. I don't know what's wrong with that. And then this one's good too. At singing time, she said I was too loud. At counting time, she said I left out 16. Who needs 16? I could tell it was going to be a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day.
Okay, he's seeming like a little bit of a jerk right now.
Right.
He doesn't think that he needs to put 16 in.
That's so funny. There's more references to Australia. Here's another one. After school, my mom took us all to the dentist, and Dr. Fields found a cavity in just me. Come back next week, and I'll fix it, said Dr. Fields. Next week, I said, I'm going to Australia.
Delusional kid.
Life is better in Australia, I guess. Okay, there's some more visuals of him screaming and moaning Myrtle over here. And I'll get to the page with the dad, too. Oh, I guess he punched his brother in this one, too. Okay. When we picked up my dad at his office, he said I couldn't play with his copying machine, but I forgot. He also said, watch out for the books on his desk, as I was careful as could be, except for my elbow. He also said don't fool around with his phone, but I think I called Australia. My dad said, please don't pick him up anymore. It was a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. Oh, this one's good too. There were lima beans for dinner, and I hate lima beans. There was kissing on TV, and I hate kissing. And his face is grossed out. I don't know if you can see that. I love this. I want to read children's books all the time. But yes, so he continues to have more bad stuff happen.
All the way through the day. Even till bedtime. Yep.
And, there's no real resolution to it, which I realized.
Except for what his mom says.
His mom says at the end, my mom says some days are just like that. And that is true. Sometimes you just have a bad day, but all you need to do is sleep and you feel better at the end of it.
Yeah.
And then...
But then he said, or she said, even in Australia. At the very last page, right? Because,
yes.
So what I think is... I thought there would be more of a meaning than that, but I do agree with... We all get into that that trap of thinking it's better somewhere else, especially when we're having a really bad day. Like you just start thinking, oh, I wish I didn't live here. Or, oh, I wish I could go on vacation. Oh, I wish I had a different job. Or just everything like different. And what you don't realize is that, there's the saying, wherever you go, there you are. Like you still bring yourself with you, still bring your troubles with you, and bad things still happen. These are all just things about being human.
Right.
He had a lot of bad things, but he also brought a lot of them on. And he didn't take responsibility for them, mister.
Right.
Because he's 10.
Right. He's a child, yes. But you're right, no, because there's tons of times where you think the grass is greener. And it could be, but it could also be that you're just going to take your own personality, which is going to cause the same situations in other places as well.
Yeah, and it really doesn't do any good to think about moving to Australia if it's not feasible. It just makes you more unhappy because then you're focused even more on not being happy here. And I used to really, that used to bother me, like with Terry when he'd say, I want to go here, I want to go there. And I said, I don't want to spend my life wishing I was somewhere else because unless it's possible to get there. But if it's not, I want to just be happy in the here and now and not spend my life wanting to be somewhere else.
Yeah.
And I also felt that way about my job. When I worked in like office settings, I remember thinking, I don't want to spend my life wishing that I wasn't at this job. So I just, that's why I started my own thing eventually. And,
right.
Oh, Dunkel. Maybe he needs to drink water, I bet.
No, you're on a roll. Keep going.
Yeah. So, I think it's just a good mental lesson, especially this time of year, because right now we're getting a big snowstorm. I think it's beautiful.
It is nice, yeah.
But people don't necessarily think that, and they just want to live somewhere else, and they complain and all that. And I think falling into that trap of not ever wanting to see snow again, for instance, is like, unless you can make it happen. But either I always say to people, either go or stay here and don't complain, because I don't want to live like that,
Yeah, you want to live in the present and everything instead of
and I
how
like
things
it
could
here,
be
and I
better.
like my friends, and I like it. I like the change of seasons, and
I love the change of seasons. Come here.
Bernie.
Confused him.
Hey, baby.
Yeah, the snow is beautiful. I mean, we were just talking, I don't know if we were talking on the episode or not, but how the snow is better than gray,
Way better.
which is what we've been having pretty much from Christmas on, which is like
gray,
murky,
40
degree
foggy,
days.
no sunshine for weeks.
Like the cheat code for depression, honestly. Yeah.
And so now it's going to snow. It's going to end. It's going to be beautiful, and it's going to be bright, clear, crisp, sunny days next week with beautiful white landscape.
Yeah. I mean, it's similar to winter, but the change of the seasons and everything. It's like the saying of April showers bring May flowers, like, so it rains all the time in the spring so that you can have greenery and plants and,
and we need
flowers
we
in the
actually need
summer.
the snow, because we will be in a drought this summer if we don't get more snow, or rain, whatever. But usually in the winter we count on a certain amount of snow. But anyway, so then Katie and I started to talk about different things that have happened to us that have made it a bad day. Some days they go, oh, he's laying down like a good boy. Oh, he just got back up.
You put too much pressure on
I
him.
did. Just different things. Like some days I have that they're all bad. They're like red light days. It just sucks. It's like
You're
everything
like
about
Alexander
it.
here, over here, yeah.
Yeah, but other days I just have things that they just go wrong. It's part of being human, and yeah, it's frustrating, but I think we all go through it. I mean, just little stuff like, I think I told you I forgot one day twice in a row I tried to make coffee with the Keurig at home, and I forgot to put the cup under it, so I had coffee all down the counter and into the drawer and down,
I've done that.
But then I came here a little bit later to the loft, and I tried to make coffee in the Keurig, and I put the water in the cup, but then I saw that there was water in there, so I forgot to pour the water out of the cup, but I did remember to put the cup under, but then the coffee went into a full cup, and so it spilled again.
Have you ever done it where you like forget to change out the old one or something, so then you're using like old coffee to drain into it with a K-cup?
Yeah.
I've done that before, and it's like, oh, this coffee's super watery. And it's just the one that I'd used previously before that, instead of putting a new K-cup in.
One time I didn't put a cup in. Is that possible? Do you have to have a cup in or no?
No, because it's just it pours water regardless. So you had a hot cup of water.
And so, but I had it in a black cup. And
so
I
then you
didn't
thought it was
notice
coffee,
it.
yeah.
And I was drinking. I'm like, God, this is really weak.
You couldn't tell at all?
Well, a few minutes in, I'm like, I think this isn't, and then I poured it out. It's water. It's hot water.
Yeah. Have you had like other experiences like that where you start your day and you're like, oh, today's gonna suck?
Yeah. Usually, like if I wake up and there's throw up all over from one of the animals, that's a good sign that things are gonna be kind of messy.
Sure. Yeah.
All day. And I guess it's kind of how you look at it too, because for him, Alexander, again, he's a child, but he did focus on all of the negatives in his day. I'm certain there were probably a couple things positive, that happened, or things that were neutral at least.
Right.
And I think it's important, especially when you're feeling sorry for yourself, to think about what's good today,
Right.
and not just accept it. And especially if you're in a period of time in your life where it's a very bad time, which I've been in a lot of those, and hard, difficult stuff. But then if I stop and think about all the good I have in my life, it really helps. I know it sounds so cliche, well, I'm really lucky and everything, but it really helps me to focus on the on the good stuff. Have you ever heard the song "Good Shit Happens" by Michael Franti?
No.
It's the same thing. He gets up and like he breaks his phone, his car breaks down, he gets a flat tire, he's late for work, all this stuff. But then he's like all frustrated by the side of the road, and he looks up at the sky and it's beautiful, and he realizes there's so much trouble in this great big life, and I would never try to offer you advice. It's just one thing I want to say to you: bad shit happens, but good shit happens too. So let it happen to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah, it's a good song. Maybe we can link it or something.
Sure.
Speaking of linking, Katie and I are trying to learn the technology end of our podcast a little bit more.
Yeah.
I would say more Katie than me, but
No, it's mutual, I think. But we're doing more of the editing of the video and audio ourselves now, and it's going to be a learning curve. But I think we're inch by inch going to get there.
So you may notice things change a little bit with
a little
sound,
bit.
But Katie's
We're keeping it pretty true to what we've been doing. It might change up in the future too, but it's fun to be in the creative side of things.
Yeah, and you like doing the editing. You said
I do.
You
Yeah,
like learning about it, and you do stuff like that at work, or
yeah.
So
and it's just interesting to see how you can piece things together to a final product like that. I mean, it's like creating anything. The same kind of excitement that I got from writing the book, I also get from piecing together a podcast episode. So.
Yeah, so that's good. And it's sort of more ours now too. Like, not sort of, it is. Like, we created the book together.
Yes.
And now we're really just working on the podcast together as a team, and trying to make it more, I don't know, home-like. Homey.
Were you going to say homely? Like I always accidentally say?
Home-like. Homey, not homely.
Homely, yeah. Yeah. So we're really excited about that, when we're going to be experimenting as we go and stuff. Is he about to throw up?
No, he just burps. He's like his mom. He's turned out to be pretty calm, this guy.
Very Homer Simpson-like.
He probably would rather be out in his room, though, so he can pee on the floor.
Classy is as classy does, honestly.
So tell me about things that happen to you that make it a bad day. Like, just in general, red light day.
Well, when I wake up, it's usually I wake up late, so then I'm like frantically running around and not paying as much attention and stuff. Things will happen, like I leave stuff. I'll go downstairs thinking I'm fully ready, and then I'm like, oh, I forgot my phone up there, like upstairs. So I gotta run back up and grab my phone, and then I come back down, and I'm like, oh crap, I forgot my rings, because I keep them, like I don't sleep with them on and everything.
Yeah.
So, and then I'm like, okay, then I gotta run back up, and then it's like a series of things that I keep forgetting that just keep adding on time and more time and more time.
Yeah.
And then that's when I know I'm going to be like, it's going to be a tough day because I get frazzled.
It starts out bad that way. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I'll those kind of things will happen. And then I'll go to the car thinking I have everything in my hands. And this is a problem. I probably should just get like a bigger purse, because I try to carry, 100 things in my hands at once, like out the door like this. And I should just get a bigger purse and just put everything in there. But then I'll get to my car, all my stuff, jump it on the seat. And then I realize that my purse isn't, like my wallet isn't in there, or my phone isn't in there.
Really important.
Or my keys, or, like it's those days happen. Fortunately, they haven't been happening as much. But they definitely are an indicator of waking up on the wrong side of the bed, I think.
I've done several times recently where I just drive off without my phone, and that's a terrible feeling, because all of a sudden you're looking for your phone, and you have to go back and get your phone these days. You can't really not have your cell phone. I mean, you can, but
it's your lifeline
people,
at this
especially
point.
with a business, like people are trying to text me and tell me things, and they're coming, they're not coming, this and that. And so I've had to drive back several times and get my phone, and you're just like, oh my God, the basic thing like that.
Right.
Anything I do out of pattern, then if I stick with the structure, then it's okay.
Right.
So if I get interrupted with a different pattern or something, then I end up frazzled, like you say,
Right.
I have a hard time calming down too once I'm frazzled. I don't just instantly calm down.
No, me neither. And caffeine doesn't really help.
Yeah.
You think it would, but it just makes you more anxious. And everything,
more
so
all over the place.
jittery, yeah. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I think it's important for people to realize that, like, even though you have these bad days and, like, sometimes you're going to feel off and sometimes you're going to want to tell people about it and all that, but every day people might get sick of it.
Yes.
Get sick of hearing it.
I know a person like that.
Nice.
It's
Okay.
in our family.
Of course I know a person like that too, you know? We all do.
Yeah, I guess. I mean,
Right.
I tend to get rid of them if they're not in my family. You know, like people like that, I try not to hang around them too much.
Right.
Now that I'm older, you know. But yeah, sometimes you get stuck with them.
Right. Yeah.
And yeah, and then I don't know, do you remember I have that sign out there that says, that Terry got me, that says it's got a half glass of water, and it says technically the glass is always full, and then it points to the water on the bottom, and then it points to the air on the top. So water and air makes a full glass. So your glass is never half empty, it's always full.
It's always full of something. Yeah.
I thought that was kind of a neat thing.
Right.
That's very Terry-like too, you know.
Right.
Technically, the glass is always full. Yeah, it's like, oh.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, you're dead now.
Oh my gosh.
What good does that do me? I don't feel like the glass is full with you gone.
Oh, wow, that's funny.
Yeah.
Well, I thought I would read, there's this article called 237 People Who Are Having a Worse Day Than You. And it's just, you know, crazy situations that have happened. And I'm actually going to screen record this too. But I thought I would share some of the things. They are memes, so I'll try to describe, I guess, what happened. But these pictures, this first one is this beautiful clay sculpture. And, like, here, you can take a look at it.
Okay.
And you
What
can see
happened? Oh, and he dropped it.
So it's this beautiful clay structure on the first one, which you guys can see if I'm putting this up correctly. If not, then here you go. And then on the other side of the picture is the clay sculpture completely smashed. I'm sure this took like hours and hours to do this.
Oh.
And then as soon as I've done that where you work really hard on something and you tip it over and it's just like all your efforts are ruined, you know?
Oh my gosh.
Not on something like that, but it's pretty... it's pretty scary. Okay, so here's the next one. It says, only realized they were there after the flash. And it's this picture of this guy smiling for the camera. And he's like in his backyard or whatever. But in the background is, well, let me refresh my page real quick. In the background is like 10 lions, like lions, and you just see the flashing of their eyes and stuff. Here, you want to see?
Oh my God.
And he's like, yeah, only after the camera was there. He's surrounded by a pride of lions, pretty much. Oh, I guess it's like 5 lions. I miscounted.
No big deal then.
Yeah, that's it's nothing.
Down, buddy? I think he wants to get down. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Water maybe? Go find your water? Yeah, he's gotten pretty good with that. He knows what he wants.
Nice. Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
This one's kind of funny. It says how to lose at life. And oh my gosh, this gets even funnier. And it's a picture of a lottery ticket next to the winning numbers. And so his ticket is 3, 8, 17, 24, and 37. And the winning numbers are 2, 9, 18, 25, and 38. You want to see it?
One away from everything?
I think I would rather lose by a lot than like that.
9, 18.
Like you picked one off for every single one of them.
Every single one.
Oh, yeah.
That's weird.
That would have frustrated me, I think. Oh. Here's another one where this person's kitchen completely collapsed and all of the cabinets fell off the wall and everything. Isn't that crazy?
Oh, that's
That's a worse day than mine today, I would say.
So far.
Yeah, just so far. There's still time.
There's still time. We got to drive home in the snow.
Yeah, now it's getting dark and everything, but
yeah, we can do it. We're from Wisconsin.
yeah, it's kind of a funny article. I mean, some of these are...
Are you going to post that, or what are you doing with it? Screenshotting it?
I'm screen recording it, and if I can be technologically advanced enough to put it on, I will share it with you guys. So
another challenge.
Yeah, I'll try.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, your day is probably might be going bad, but there's a chance that it could always be worse.
Yep. And sometimes that helps, and sometimes sometimes you just want to, for a while, feel sorry for yourself, and I think that's okay for a little while, but then to get over it, not to always feel sorry for yourself.
If it's every single day, then it's probably not the things happening around you.
Exactly. It's how you're looking at things, right?
Right. Yeah. If you take your time to like lick your wounds or whatever from what's happening, that's totally acceptable.
Yeah.
It is the everyday, all day, every day when it starts to get to be too much.
I can't even imagine having a brain that always sees the negative in things. That would
Right.
be a terrible way to live. And I think we know
It'd be really stressful,
somebody
I think.
like that. Pretty much Ken was that way. I mean, he got happy here and there, but it didn't last. So
Right.
and yeah, and so the other brother's that way too, but it's hard for them to pull out of it. I don't get it, but maybe if they had had a mother like Alexander, his mom, like Alexander's mom, who says, "Oh, you're gonna get days like that," but they happen everywhere, including Australia, as opposed to, enabling it and feeling sorry for them.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of goes back to that again.
Right.
Speaking of mom, we thought we would start doing a few psychological profiles on books we've read. And Katie gave me this book for Christmas, Little Fires Everywhere.
Yeah.
And I guess it's very popular because it was made into a series with Reese Witherspoon and Kerry Washington.
Yes. Yeah.
A few years ago.
Yeah.
So I haven't ever seen the series. I didn't know it existed. I read this book. I just finished it today.
Mm-hmm.
And what I found interesting about it, speaking of grandma, is that it was the story of two women. So Reese Witherspoon was from the side of the Richardsons, where everything in their life was perfect, or is perfect. They have good jobs. They have a beautiful home. They have manicured lawns. They always have money. They always have food in the refrigerator. And they don't have a cat named Bernie.
Wow.
Anyway, and then they rent a house to another person who's Kerry Washington in the series, who is an artist and a gypsy, and she's raising a child on her own, no father. She's broke most of the time. She chooses to live the way she lives because she wants to be an artist. Like she'd rather waitress and get odd jobs when they run out of money, because she thinks of her job as being an artist rather than have a career of doing something else and not having time for the art. And so they end up clashing in values, because the one who's so perfect and everything and all about appearance, which reminds me of grandma, she ends up losing out in the end and being the most unhappy. Whereas the one that's living unabashedly the way she wants to and not asking for anything from anybody is the one that gets life and that is happy and content. And so it's a really strange book, though. That's going to be my review. I've never read a book that jumps, and it's okay. It's well written, but it's weird how they do a lot of foreshadowing. You talked about that. And they do a lot of jumping from this character to that character, but they don't make it obvious that they're jumping. And then eventually they end up intertwined. And it's a very strange book, but it's definitely worth it, and it's definitely a good test, or a good study on people trying to make life perfect. because
Yeah.
it really isn't for anybody. Any town like Shaker Heights, everything is planned. From the layout of the winding roads to the colors of the houses to the successful lives of residents. Yeah.
Wasn't there a big fire at the end?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And that's in the book. That doesn't ruin it because the book starts out with
the fire?
With the Richardsons' youngest daughter burning down their house, the perfect house.
I mean, even the title, from what I remember, because I didn't read the book personally, but I saw the series and I knew that it was popular. The title is symbolic for the things that you were saying, because yes, there was a big fire, but the focus is on the little fires that you can't control no matter what you do. Even though you're trying to make everything look perfect, there's still little fires everywhere.
Everyone has fires.
Yes.
Everyone is dealing with something.
And I think that's like the everywhere is I think means even with the people that have quote unquote perfect lives.
Did you come find me, mister? Exactly. Yeah. And so, but then what's interesting is the people that had the most perfect looking life and the perfect house, their fire, it burned down their whole house. It flattened it, and everybody knew about it.
Right, yeah. It was like building into a bigger literal fire or something, right?
Yep.
Okay.
But it doesn't spoil it because they say the youngest daughter who never understood her mom because her mom didn't accept her because she wasn't perfect, she's the one who burned down their house and ran away. And and she ended up wanting the artist to be her mom instead.
Okay.
So...
Well, I think I would try giving that book a read, honestly.
Yeah, it's worth it. It definitely is.
It was really popular at Barnes & Noble when I used to work there. I know that it was up towards the top at the bestsellers.
Yeah. It's a Reese's book club. Kind of funny that Reese is the one acting in the series.
That's not funny at all. It's completely by design. She acts in a lot of her own
Oh, she
book
does?
clubs. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Or directs. She directs a lot of them too. She with Where the Crawdads Sing, which was another Reese's book club. She was, I think, the director or producer or something on it too. So
okay,
she definitely makes her own roles into them and everything.
Okay, well,
smart businesswoman.
She's an artist. Yeah. It just says Little Fires Everywhere explores the weight of secrets, and here we're on No More Secrets.
Right.
Because they all have secrets from each other. It's all, everybody's carrying a big secret.
Yeah, it's the fires that you can't put out that are just keep building.
Yep.
Take care of one and another pops up.
Anyway, so that we thought we would explore the psychological, mental health of some characters in good books that we've read, just as an aside, a small part of our show each week or each, whenever we have a book that we want to talk about.
What are you currently reading now?
Well, I just finished this like 2 minutes before you came.
Okay.
So I haven't figured out what's next. Probably, what else did you give me? Malibu Rising?
Malibu Rising, yeah. That one I know is good, and I love that author.
Taylor Reed Jenkins, did I get that right?
Taylor Jenkins Reid.
Okay.
Close.
That was close, though.
Yeah. I'm currently reading Court of Thorns and Roses, which is a fantasy series that I love, and it is very popular. But for those of you who don't know, I don't know if Mary is a big magic person, right?
No.
You've expressed that?
I don't know why.
I think it's the idea of magic. Once you get into the stories that include magic, if they're done well enough, you don't think about the magic piece of it.
Okay. Kind of like the Cerulean Sea
House
thing?
on the Cerulean Sea, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's magic in the story, but the story is not about magic.
Got it.
It's about kids that are kind of outcasts at a what's the word where they go away? Like a school.
Boarding school?
Boarding school, yeah.
Okay.
Why can't I think of that?
I don't know.
It's a weird 4 o'clock mate or brain fart, I guess.
Well, it's dark and technology kind of kicked our butt, but we figured it out.
We did, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You should check our TikToks for the attempts.
Okay, yeah, that's a different story. But stay tuned, everyone.
It'll already be out by the time this episode comes, so.
Oh, yeah. Duh. I don't know why I can't get that straight.
We put the episodes out later.
I forgot about that.
I'm teaching Mary, not you guys. Don't worry.
Speaking of which, the next episode, the next episode we do have a guest. We have Dolores back. It's going to be her third time. She's calling it the three-peat. And she's going to talk about, Dolores is the one who shared with us the last time about her son killing his father and then basically killing himself or forcing somebody to kill him. And so we'll check in with her to see how she's doing in terms of dealing with that. And but she also wants to talk about forgiveness because her view on forgiveness is different than what a lot of people might have as a view, and especially self-forgiveness because of things that she wished she would have done and with her son who's now dead, and just learning to get past that, and also forgiveness not being acceptance necessarily, or not just because you forgive them doesn't mean you approve of what they did. So some people think forgiveness means it's okay what you did, like it's okay that you killed your father, but it's not. But I still forgive you.
Right.
So it should be interesting. She's always a real good person to talk to, and so it's going to be. So that'll be the next episode, most likely, unless we go out of order or something. But we have it lined up. We're getting on a roll again.
We are. Yeah.
Yep. So here we are. I think we could probably wrap it up at this point.
Yeah, we can. Sounds good. Thanks for listening, watching, all that stuff. We hope you guys are enjoying the content. Please comment any thoughts you had on the episode and follow us on Patreon.
And if you want to share about
a bad day,
like what is that called again? The no good.
Oh yes, I would love. Please comment your terrible, horrible, no good, very bad days for us, so that we can look at them and maybe even read them on the next episode. That'd be great.
Can feel better then too.
Yeah, we can feel better about our own.
Yeah.
There's only cereal in my cereal box too. Dang it.
And why do you need the number 16? And what's funny about it is that he doesn't realize the number 16 is very important in his life if he wants to drive to Australia.
Right. Because we're going to drive to Australia.
Hey, it's positive thinking, man. You can make it happen.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, sounds good. Well, anyways, we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.